Okay. Is this thing on? Okay. I think we are live. Okay. Can everyone see me and can everyone hear me? Yeah, I saw the Zadarius Smith signing. I need to look into the Trent Brown stuff a little bit more. I'm not sure about this one. Hmm. Yeah, there's a little bit of bad blood between. Hey, sup, David? Yeah, there's a little bit of bad blood here for sure. Zadarius Smith. Mask. You might know. Has Trent Brown ever played left tackle, or is he only ever played right tackle? He's a right tackle, pure and pure, right? Let me know if I'm wrong about that, but as far as I know, he's only ever been a right tackle. Yeah, pure RT. Okay. I thought that was the case. Austin Blight's a good signing, yeah. All right. We're back on board. Yeah, I saw that user not found, or I heard about it. I didn't watch it. Thoughts on Zadarius Smith? Yeah, he's good. Yeah, Andy. I mean, I don't know what else he's supposed to say, but it's clearly not true. It's very clear, based off everything we're hearing, that he wanted out. Hmm. Yeah, the Trent Brown thing's interesting. I don't know if I love it. I'm not crazy about it. I gotta be real. I'm gonna have to think. I mean, it can't be bad, but I'm not convinced it's great. I'd rather get somebody who's going to be a little cheaper, like Bulaga, and then let him compete with Kurhan. He has played left tackle before? Okay. I wonder if that would be the plan. Hmm. Bulaga's not that old. Mask, by the way, check your DMs. I just sent you a DM. Yeah, we are an hour away from less than an hour from the live stream. Hey, Tumbo. Yeah, Tumbo, I took the whole week off from work. I almost never take time off from work, so I have a massive amount of time off built up. One thing about the Waldron offense, or the McVay offense, or whatever you want to call it, the tackles are often not very mobile. It's the interior linemen who are more mobile. So you can get tackles who are a little more immobile and still kind of pull it off. Hmm. Maybe unknown. Joshua, I'm a software developer. Yeah, PTO, Tumbo. I never take unpaid time off. I've never had to. Not once. I've all my time off I've ever taken since I got a real job has been paid off. I almost never take time off, so whenever I need to, there's so much there for me. That's never been a concern. Well, Jonas, Zedarius is also older. That's probably part of it. It's also a much longer term deal. Well, Big Daddy K, the stream just started. Give it time. Like, I will sometimes, and this isn't going to be the case going forward, but sometimes I literally don't take a single day off until December, and then I just take 3 weeks off in a row. So if I ever have an emergency where I need to take time off, it's no problem. I'm kind of like the dude. Lately, I've been like the dude in what's that movie? Unbreakable, where I never take a sick day because I never get sick. I haven't gotten sick in a long time. It's getting scary. Yes, Cole. That is correct. All right. No, no hoof. It's it's got Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson in it. Samuel L. Jackson plays Mr. Glass. Um, Bruce Willis plays like the security guard who finds out he's actually a superhero or something. What's it called? Unbreakable? Somebody in chat's going to know what that movie is. Armstead might sign wherever Watson goes. Hmm. Yeah, Split was the sequel. I'm pretty sure the first one was called Unbreakable. Yeah, Unbroken. I actually saw that one too in theaters. Whew. Okay, 1 second, guys. What's up, guys? Things are happening. Free agency has officially started. The Wilson trade has gone through. No takebacks. It is done. It is a done deal. A lot of other moves are starting to happen. Julio got released. Adarius got signed by the Ravens. Like I said in my last video, we got Austin Blythe, but I'm not going to talk about any one specific move in this video. I'm going to talk about a couple things that have happened in the last half hour that are interesting. So follow me through here. I can't help but find this to be a little amusing here. So Russell Wilson had his first press conference in a Denver Broncos uniform just like half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. And he said a lot of things very complimentary about the Seahawks organization. He praised John and Pete, Metcalf, praised all these people associated with this organization. And basically, when asked about the nature of the trade, he was he insisted that it didn't come from him. Like, he wasn't the one who wanted to get traded. I don't know what else he would say, but it was kind of amusing when at the exact same time you had Jody Allen, Pete Carroll, and John Schneider all issue statements where they said they didn't say anything negative about Wilson necessarily, but they said he wanted out. He wanted to go. He wanted to go play for another team. So he came out and tried to indicate that no, it wasn't me that wanted out. They wanted me out. That's basically the implication. And then for the team, the three biggest power brokers on this team, Pete, John, and Jody, to come out and say otherwise is, I don't know, that felt like something, right? Because at the exact same moment, you could watch that press conference with Russ in Denver and go, okay, who are we going to believe here? So that was a little that was a little bit interesting. But it's not just that. It's what the Seahawks are doing now that also has my attention here. Because Jody, Pete, and John sending out those statements almost sounded like a shot. A little bit of a shot at Wilson, right? Little bit. Not a huge thing, but definitely something that I noticed. But what we are doing over the last couple of hours and what we may do in the future seems like an even bigger shot. So we signed Austin Blythe, a center who is a clear upgrade, in my opinion, over anybody we've had since probably that 1 year that Justin Britt was good. That 1 year where Justin Britt was like top 8 center in the league. Blythe is probably going to be the best center that we've had. He had a really nice year in LA in 2020, and then in 2021 he just so happened to go to a team that drafted a future All-Pro center in Creed Humphrey. So probably the best center we've had since at least 2015. So when Wilson is here, you give him Posick, you give him Kyle Fuller, you give him washed up Justin Britt. You don't really give him anything to work with at center. And then as soon as he leaves, now you're addressing the center position. So that's head scratching. But now we are hearing rumors, and not even rumors, we are actually hearing confirmed reports that the Seahawks are going to make a significant push to sign Trent Brown. Great right tackle, one of the better right tackles in the league, to what will probably be a pretty substantial deal. By the way, he's also played left tackle. He played left tackle in 2018. I don't know where we're going to play him if we get him, but there is a lot of reason to believe that we're going to meet with Trenton Brown tomorrow and possibly sign him. So that would be another instance where you decide, hey, we're going to build the offensive line after we get rid of Wilson. Because the right tackle, Chris Padazra, welcome to the stream. So the right tackle position, if you take a look at the players we've had at right tackle since Wilson has been here, Brandon Shell, now Jake Curhan. Before them, it was Jermaine Affetti. I think Breno Yakamimi was there for a little while. We had none of them, no right tackle we have ever had has been even close to as good as Trenton Brown. I would say ever, but definitely not since Wilson has been here. So what I'm trying to get at here is you don't build the offensive line for Wilson, but then you actually start building it the moment he's out the door. Either that's really, really, really dumb, or maybe you just felt like the offensive line, he doesn't know how to use a good offensive line, so we're not going to build it for him. Right? That's kind of what it feels like right now, and we'll see what happens with Trent Brown. We'll see what happens with that. But it would be very weird if this team decided, okay, as soon as Wilson is out the door, now we build the offensive line. Some people are going to say it's about money, but it's not really about money. We had money. We just chose not to spend it on offensive linemen. Some people are going to say because Wilson was taking all our money, that's categorically not true. We've had cap space plenty of times before, and we chose to spend it in ways that didn't really fix the offensive line. So, to me, it's almost like saying, oh, we weren't going to build a good offensive line for Wilson because he doesn't know how to use a good offensive line, we don't think. And I guess there is reason to believe that. I don't know if I believe that you should just assume that. I think you should at least give him that offensive line and see what he can do with it. Obviously, Wilson makes offensive lines look worse because of how he plays. He makes it harder to block for him. I don't know if I would just assume that he can't work with a good offensive line, that he can't make it worth it. But this kind of feels like a shot at Wilson. Like, okay, we're going to build the offensive line now that you're out of here. You asked for a better offensive line. We didn't give it to you. Now we're going to get it that you're gone. You can say part of it is because of money, but there has to be some part of this where this team is just going, we weren't going to do it for him. He was going to waste it. He was going to ruin it. He was going to find a way to make any offensive line we built look bad. But now that we have a new quarterback, and we don't know who the new quarterback is going to be, but now that we have that, now we're going to try to build an offensive line. And I cannot help but find that to be a little bit of a shot at Russell Wilson, combined with this shot that I talked about during his presser. So that's interesting. Also interesting would be this whole idea of bringing in Trent Brown. Now, look, Trent Brown's young. He could be good for the next 4 or 5 years. But I don't think this is a signing you make if you're completely blowing up 2022. So I don't know what's coming. It could be the Matt Ryan thing, could be the Jared Goff thing, could be Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. It could be some mediocre quarterback to just bridge. But I don't think you build this offensive line for Drew Lock either. So I don't know what the plan is right now. I'm not sure if I like it. Look, Trent Brown's great. Trent Brown's a great player. He would be the best right tackle Seattle has maybe ever had. But what are we building this for? What are we building this offensive line for? Is it Drew Lock? Then I'm not super into it. But time will tell. So we'll see what happens with Trent Brown. But seems like we're saying some pretty negative things about Wilson right now in this organization. And there seems to be a little bit of bad blood there. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's how I feel. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Yeah, I hope we're building it for a rookie. I hope we're building it for a rookie. I hope it's not for Drew Lock. Is this Pete being arrogant and thinking he's going to have any QB? I really hope not. I hope he's at least looking at one of these rookies and going. But the thing is, here's the problem. You don't have that rookie yet. For all you know, you're not going to be able to get them. For all you know, that quarterback is not going to be there for you. So you building this team and making decisions like you assume you have that guy is not a good idea. Right. Um, Hold on 1 second, guys. Minor technical difficulties. Something's wrong with this thing. The heck? Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, Titans signing running back Trenton Cannon. Interesting. I think Trent Cannon will be an okay fit. He's not amazing, but the tackles in the Waldron McVay offense don't matter quite as much. 1 second, guys. I got to get this uploaded. Chewy Suarez, welcome to the channel. Here's my problem with the Malik Willis idea. There's some possibility that the Lions take him at number 2 overall. Like, don't assume that you can get him just because you want him. That's bad idea. Especially a guy like Malik Willis, who I like, but he's a project. He's not going to be good out the box. That's not a reasonable expectation. Like, if the Lions like Malik Willis enough to think he's the guy, then maybe they reach for him a little bit. If we try and build an offensive line for another quarterback, if it doesn't work, I can never forgive Pete and John. It's going to make him look really bad potentially. This is the biggest decision that Pete and John have ever made. They will never live it down if it doesn't work out. I don't know. To me, Malik Willis is a project. You need to give him time. He's not going to be ready to win year one. Like that first year Lamar was in the NFL, didn't Joe Flacco start most of the season? And then Lamar, I mean, he showed some stuff when he went in there, but there was also some real problems. Hmm. Uh, uh-huh. Like, what did Lamar do as a rookie? He didn't play that much, right? They developed him. Uh, Hold on. I want to make sure I'm right on that. Yeah. Okay. He actually started 7 games, didn't play that well, and he was pretty bad in the playoff game. And then the next year he won MVP. Like maybe you could kind of do like that with Malik, I guess. But okay, well, he did run for almost 700 yards. That's pretty good. He went 6-0. I'm looking at PFF. It says he actually went 6-1. Let me take a look here. Okay, they lost the OT game to Kansas City. and then they won the 6 of their last 7. Well, his passing numbers are not good as a rookie. His running numbers are pretty good. And then in the playoff game, he didn't do very well. Okay. Okay, he played more than I remembered. But still, they didn't go into the season naming him the starter. Flacco was starting for them. Oh my God, they lost an overtime game to Cleveland 12-9. Kufui, it's getting more and more common lately. Rookie quarterbacks actually are being successful pretty frequently these days, I think. Brad Garcia, welcome to the channel. The heck? Okay, this video is uploading extremely slowly because I'm streaming at the same time, so this is not ideal. Um, okay, if I click stop streaming, what happens? Does it kill the stream or does it pause the stream? It kills it? Okay. Okay. It literally hasn't moved for it reminds me of that time my power went out and when my internet came back it was like really really slow and it just kind of crawls. All right. I mean, if we got Malik, I would be okay with it, but ugh. I that first year I just don't know what you're going to get, especially if you lose like Penny. I'm happy with it in power. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a pretty good price. Can't go wrong with it. Skater Boyo Land, welcome to the stream. Yeah, guys, the people who think there's some connection between Corral and DK, it's not the case. They barely played together. They played together for maybe like 3 minutes. They may they may have never even met each other. Like DK just caught a few of his passes. Ugh. Yeah, I saw that, Andy. Well, it's the Browns. What do you expect? Hey, Trent Brown, I mean, he's a good player. No doubt about it. Nothing yet, Dwayne G. I guess you could, Aaron. You could. Well, Fame, there's definitely a quarterback in this class who is going to be good. I just don't know who it's going to be. None of these guys are declaring themselves in any super emphatic way to me. Will, I'm not so sure. If we get Trent Brown, I think maybe they're trying to get a rookie and just throwing him in this year and hope he's good. Yeah, I don't mind the moves we've made so far today. Jarvis Landry visiting the Atlanta Falcons. That makes sense. Michael Thomas to the Bengals? Really? They don't need receivers? Wait, which Michael Thomas is this? Is this Michael Thomas the receiver? They don't need receivers. They need. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. I was about to say what? That don't make no sense. Yeah, Blythe is better than Posick. And I don't think Posick's that bad, but Blythe is better. Michael Thomas will play again one day. Probably. Maybe. Yeah, Blythe is going to start at center unless we draft Lindenbaum or something, I think. Which is possible. Blythe is probably a bridge, Cameron. We're going to try to find a franchise center. What do you think about Locke? I don't think Locke's good. Stranger things have happened, but I don't think he's going to become some great player or anything. I don't know, JS. I don't know. They have a great GM, apparently, or maybe he's terrible. I don't know. There's no in between, though. Ayaan Mall. Hold on one second, guys. There we go. That's better. They were JS. They moved like $150 million, so it's going to be atrocious next year. But they were able to push the pain out. Yeah, and Mall, I like it too. No, Alex, I'm not. It just depends on who's there. It all depends on who's there. Dark, I'm not sure. I might just read the Twitter because Twitter's gonna talk about everything that gets said. So I might just read it on Twitter. Pete Carroll's voice kind of enrages me, so maybe I'll just listen to it. Or I'll just read it on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe it's a slight overpay, but I'd much rather overpay a guy like Nwosu a couple million than overpay freaking goddamn Will Disley by 6 million. All right, I'm going off mic for a second. Okay, can you guys hear my computer trilling when I do this? Listen. You guys can hear that, right? Alec Ingold to Dolphins. Okay. All right, cool. All right, sounds working. Thank you. If we get Trent Brown, then that is an indicator that we're trying to win in 2022, which, okay, fine. But you better not be doing it with Drew Lock. Noah, there's no way he's worth top 10 pick. He might be worth a later top first round pick. And yes, JS is correct. Patrick Queen is garbage. Patrick Queen is bad at football. Maybe he's good at electric football. Your Goff trade would make so much sense now. Kinda. If we're gonna build an offensive line, I'd rather get a rookie, Malik or Corral, I guess. I know, JS, but you know what? They help boost the channel. Aha, there we go. Now I can hear through my headset. So, if I listen to the audio of the press conference in this stream, is YouTube gonna kill me? Because that's what we might do. That's what we might do. If there's no music, okay. Hopefully there's no music. I don't know why there would be. Drew Lock is definitely not better than Goff. Yo, boy Sosa, I'm okay with some of this stuff. If we get Trent Brown, then at least I'll feel like we have a plan. James, I think you would only need to get him for 1 year. I think you would be a 1 year thing and then you move on. That's what I would do. Brady Nelson, we're both doing our own thing. If we get Trent Brown, then I think I know what the plan is. If we get Trent Brown, then I'll be like, okay, we have a plan. Oh my god, that is so loud. The Patriot, welcome to the channel. If we get Trenton Brown, then I think the plan is to get a rookie quarterback, put him in early on. And then try to win immediately. All right, so we're going to be checking out the Pete Carroll John Schneider press conference shortly. I will be playing the audio on stream. Why does that play more than once? Huh. I'll figure that out later. Anyway, so we got about 300 people in here right now, so I want to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. You can become a channel member for $2 or $5. We're like 10 members away from another emoji. And donations via Super Chat or PayPal or Venmo or Cash App are appreciated. We have a stream donation goal. We are 40% of the way there. We need $60 more donated this stream to get to the goal. We got to the goal the first 2 days. Let's try to do it every day this week. And with that being said, Let's see what these mofos have to say. Zach, I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Alexander and Toku, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the channel. All right, let's see if we can get this to work, guys. Burn signing seems fine. I mean, it can't be bad. We have, it's 2 million. Why does it play twice? That's never happened before. Clarity is awful. What do you mean clarity is awful? Is the audio quality awful or something? Fame Cut, welcome to basic membership. Welcome to the club. Fame Cut. Welcome to the membership club. All right. And I don't know why the alert isn't going off. Any day now, alert. A lot of people in the chat like Sauce Gardner. I don't get it. I gotta be honest, I don't get it. You can't hear me. Maybe forward is good, but it shouldn't. Okay. Roy Froelich, thank you for the upgraded membership to Elite. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Elite Channel Membership Club. Don't know why the alert isn't working. I blame Streamlabs. I'm gonna start using Stream Elements in the near future. I think Streamlabs just kind of blows. I think there's something wrong with Streamlabs. I need to upgrade to Stream Elements and just redo all my alerts. Okay, so Fame Cut, I'm going to manually trigger the member alert. Just pretend it's your name instead of mine. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's not going off. I blame Streamlabs. Still waiting on Pete and John. Yeah, no, we're new, but we still got to listen, right? Commanders have released Landon Collins. Okay, I am closing the chat in this stream because it's brain dead. These chatters have brain damage. All right, chat is absolutely popping right now. Cool Fooey, I'll change it to something. I'll change it to something. I'm not 100% sure yet. What yet? Okay, they're still not in there. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the press conference. The people in the press conference chat are spamming the same comments over and over again, and it's making me irritated. I'm talking about them, not you guys. Yeah, should be out any minute now. Pockaholic, welcome to the channel. Tyler Braun, welcome to the channel. Why is the subscriber count not incrementing when those pop up? God, Streamlabs is bad. I'm starting to learn. Streamlabs is actually really bad. Jose, I do have it set up. It hasn't started yet. You guys should be able to hear it once it starts if I set this up right. Good question. Marked for death. March 22nd is Malik's pro day. March 22nd. Terrence Mitchell goes to the Patriots. Brendy Nelson, sometimes people sub, and if your subscriptions are private, I think it doesn't show up. You have to set your subscriptions to public in order to get them to show up in an alert. That's always been the case, I think. It's one of the problems with Streamlabs. I'm going to switch to Stream Elements soon. Come on! 5 minutes late. Yeah, cool, Fooey. He does have an injury problem, but that's why you would have Jay Curhan backing him up, maybe. Okay. Ah. We are picking up a ton of subscriptions right now, but I think most of them are private, so they're not showing up in the alerts. But thank you to everybody who just subbed to the channel. Mark Pryor, welcome to the channel. All right, the incrementer worked. Yeah, still hasn't started yet, guys. Marquise Blair's outside corner is kind of interesting. I don't hate it. I like Nwosu signing. I think it's good. Maybe not amazing, but it's good. I like him. I'm interested in that. Rydell Cotton, welcome to the channel. Don't know why the alert plays more than once, but it shouldn't. Vincent Dynamics, welcome to the channel. Clemente Jackson, you have to click this link. Okay, Clemente Jackson, click the link I'm about to post in chat now. Still waiting. $10 late now. I'm like Judge Judy tapping her watch. You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm Judge Judy. Yes, David, I actually am starting to lean that way. Yes, CR, there is. Come on. Come on, Pete and John. Brandon Zylstra back to the Panthers on a 1-year contract. Clemente Jackson, welcome to the Elite Channel Membership Club. Tyler Dooley, welcome to the Basic Membership Club. Welcome, Clemente. Welcome, Tyler. Good to have you on board. I wish the alert was working right now, but I blame Streamlabs for all the evil in the world right now. Welcome aboard, both of y'all. The support is appreciated. Willis is probably better. Corral's probably a better fit for this offense. Yo, what the heck was all that? Oh, okay, Tyler. I got you. K Vizons. Very nice. I do not collect football cards. Come on, guys. Come on, Pete. Come on, John. Just come out and tell us. Tell us how Drew Lock is going to be Steve Young 2.0. Hmm. I do not have a P.O. box. Come on, Pete. Come on, John. 15 minutes now. 15 minutes. Thank you, Clemente. I appreciate it. Miles Jack is not atrocious. I just think he'll be too expensive. Okay, here we go. It's on. Can you guys hear it? Let me know if I need to turn it up or something when it starts in a second
Welcome
here.
back
Hey, yeah, we're
in
back.
person.
Welcome to our little get together here. Um, I got a little story to tell here. Years ago, when I was at USC, I used to have an opportunity every springtime to meet with Coach John Wooden, the legendary hoop coach from UCLA. and every year when we had a chance to get together, we always had this opportunity to talk. And I always want to think of something that kind of start the discussion and get us going. And one year in particular, I had this thought and meet Coach and say, "Hey, Coach, what's up?" And I said, "Hey, got something for you." I said, "How much you change your philosophy from year to year?" And he looked at me, and as he looked at me, I went, "Oh no, what was I thinking? Why did I ask that?" No, I felt like a little kid. And he said, "Coach, you don't change your philosophy. Your philosophy is what it is. You either believe in it or you don't. What happens is every year the players change, and as you apply your philosophy for the players, it takes on the shape of the individuals that you're dealing with. But you don't change your philosophy." And I bring that up to start with because I think it's important for us to make a statement here that we've been here a long time. John and I have been working for a lot of years here for the Allen family, and we've had a blast doing what we're doing. And we, over the years, have been challenged in so many ways. And in that, our philosophy, how we operate, how we think, what we believe in, it has truly been expressed. And we continue to grow and dynamically, take a look at it and make sure that we're always staying abreast of the times and competitive and all of that. But our philosophy really is what it is. That's about competing. That's what we've been doing ever since we got here. And we've applied it to every aspect of every, makeup of our program. And it's, I say it to you now because this is where we are right now is just another statement about what our philosophy is. And I really think we've been around the local people enough where you have a good feel for who we are. You can kind of count on where we're going. You kind of have a sense for what we think and how we operate. And we've been successful for a long time. And we're proud of that. We're also proud that we know what we're doing. And we believe in what we believe in, and we're fired up to kick it into high gear. So as we go through this, it'll be evident. I'm not going to share all that, the philosophy stuff with you, but I just wanted to make that clear. Because this is a great time of year. This is the time of year where we are challenged to the max. I mean, free agency just started an hour and a half ago or whatever. We're rolling in the midst of it. And this is an extraordinary opportunity for us to help our franchise, which is what we're here to do. We're trying to do everything we can to make it as good as we can possibly make it. And so the challenges are just so widespread. We have players coming and players going, and financial considerations and technical aspects of it. There's so many different elements to what this time of year brings, and also brings some really hard decisions, some difficult decisions. And what I wanted to share with you is that I really think that free agency, in a sense, is about giving guys a second chance. And I hope we've been really clear to you that we believe in giving people second chances. We've fought for giving guys second chances. Heck, Johnny and I both have been in enough situations in our personal careers where second chances have been enormous for us. I mean, and there's been some historic second chances. You remember way back when we got here, and we fought our butt off to get Marshawn Lynch to come here from Buffalo and give him a second opportunity to come back to life in football and see what he could do with a really clear thought of what we were after. We're after that guy to come here and bring his personality, his makeup, his nature, and see if he can influence this program. And it couldn't. The rest of the story couldn't be more clear. And more recently, Jamal Adams was in a situation in New York where he felt he needed a second chance. He was looking for another opportunity. And so we were thrilled to give him that chance. And we made a huge decision with the trade and the picks and all this stuff to give him that opportunity to get a new look at his world of his career in football. And it totally makes sense. You all see that. You all know what that was all about. Quandre is another great one that just happened. You don't know that Quandre stepped up in Detroit and said some stuff that he felt needed to be said in that program for wherever it was going on. I don't know what that story was all about. But when he did, he put himself in a light where he wasn't in great favor there. And so we were able to give him a second shot at coming to us. And look what has happened with Quandre. We just signed him to a huge deal to become a great leader in our program. He's a magnificent player, back-to-back Pro Bowls and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's just because he got a second chance and he did something with it. And it just goes on. We just gave Al Woods, a guy who had been out of football for a year, and thought he might be done with the game. And we bring him back, and he has a fantastic season. We just signed him to a new contract and got him coming back because of the guy that he is, what he offers his club and in the locker room. It's just a beautiful illustration of a second chance. He was just in here today signing up with his new deal, and we're thrilled to get that done. I'll give you another one. Darrell Taylor. Darrell Taylor came into this program. We drafted him on the future. We had to look into the future. Could he possibly come back from this injury that he had? He had a freaking rod put in his leg, and he couldn't play his first year. And he made it all the way through that first year and more. He was barely getting through at the end of that year. And we said, let's give Darrell a whole new outlook. Let's start all over again as we're going into this new year. Gave him a second chance at making his first impression here with the Seattle Seahawks. He had an incredible year. Remember what I told you, all that he did in the offseason, how hard he worked and how dedicated he was. He showed this side of himself that we hadn't even seen in the whole first year. The first 12 months he was here. And now he's one of the guys we're most excited about. Can't wait to see him join us in this year after his first year of playing. Another second chance opportunity. How about Geno Smith? Geno Smith's had a few second chances. But look at when he finally got a chance to play last year. And he came in and did some great stuff for us and showed that he could bounce back from sitting out for a couple of years and make it back to playing. Now, we don't know where, Geno's a free agent right now, but he's another second chance guy that is faced with an opportunity, right now to come on back and show what he's all about. And take it all the way to this trade we just made. Drew Lock. Drew Lock's a new quarterback coming into our program. Drew, we loved him in the draft. Our guys were thrilled about him coming up, going to take a shot. Maybe we could get a pick and get him. We didn't. He goes into his first year, finally plays his first 5 games, and he goes 4-1 in his first season, his rookie season. All the promise, all that you would hope to see, the numbers and stuff, show that he's going to have a great run in his career. And the next 2 years didn't work out very well. He battled his tail off and competed his tail off, but it hasn't worked out. Is this a second chance for Drew Lock? Heck yeah, it is. It's an absolute clear second chance for him to take us back to where we knew him to be, and we'll find out. You know how we're going to go about it. We're going to think the highest and the most highest level to perform and help our club that he could possibly generate. That's out there waiting for us. We can't wait to see it happen, and it excites the heck out of us. And in that, Russell was looking for a second shot. I think, as I look at it now, he was. He was, look, is there something else out there? And he's got his second shot, too. He gets a second shot at the NFL. We wish him the freaking very best. He did awesome stuff for us here in Seattle. He was a great player for us. But now his second opportunity, look what he's going to do with it. He's going to fly. He's going to do great stuff. And then we support him and wish him well and all of that. And I think this whole thought about second chances is just so important to mention, because that may be the way our people from the outside look at it. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe it is, Johnny. Maybe it is a second shot. I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. But this is about second opportunities, and free agency kind of marks that deal. And, I thought about another guy. You're going to ask questions about Colin Kaepernick. I mean, I know you're going to ask, so let me just put it out there. He contacted me the other day, said, hey, I'd like to get a shot. I'm working out. And so he sent me some videos. The next thing I know, he's working out with Tyler Lockett. I don't know how that happened, but does that guy deserve a second shot? I think he does. Somewhere. I don't know if it's here. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's even in football. I don't know.
He needs to calm down.
People get a second opportunity.
He really needs to calm down.
Opportunities, and they can make the most of it if they're ready for it and all that. I don't know. I don't mean to send out any mixed messages about that, but I wanted you to understand that that's how serious this is. It's second chance time. And so I just think it's really important that we touch on these things, because we're heading forth back to free agency. Here we go. We're going to walk out of here. We're going to go right back to wheeling. Johnny's wheeling and dealing, doing everything he can to come up with every way he can possibly help our club. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about his free agency time. This is a culture here at Seattle. This is a place here where if players come here and take a look at it, they want to be part of this thing. And I understand it. I've been watching it for years. They'll ask them. You've all interviewed enough guys to know that. And there's something in this building and the way we operate and the way we function that it's a great landing place for guys to take that next shot and to take that next opportunity. So if I got my chance to recruit a little bit as we're continuing to work this thing, I'm going to take it. This is a great place for guys to come. And it also in that, because it's also a difficult place to leave. Guys get here and they know that we care for them, we look out after them, we compete our butt off at everything we're doing. We have as much fun as you can have in this game, which most people can't figure out how you can do it, but we know how to do that. And when it comes to an end, it's hard to leave. And it's awkward and it doesn't feel right. And how come I may have to leave? And we lose a guy like Bobby Wagner. It was a heartbreaking decision to make. We love Bobby Wagner. He's done everything in the world he could possibly do with a football opportunity as he's had. A Hall of Famer, going to be on the stadium. A guy around town. Everything he's ever touched has been golden. And we have to make a tough decision, just like we started with. And so he goes on. And we wish him the best and love him to death. And hopefully he'll feel that back. Most of our guys come back, and they all come back, and they live in town. They live together. They like being here because they reconnect with our culture. And it's a special place in that regard. And I don't mind telling you that, and I'm proud of that. We've worked really hard to get that done. So as we move ahead here, and John will talk about all the stuff here, there's a lot that's happened and a lot that's gone on that excites the hell out of us. This is a great time for us. It's a great challenge for us. This is that challenging time of year, and yeah, we're faced with some challenges, but all we see is what's going to go the right way, what's going to happen for us. We look at this just like every other year. We're trying to build the championship freaking football team right now. There's no future. We'll do it somewhere down the road. We don't think like that. We've never thought like that, and we're not going to think like that now. So in what I'm sharing with you, that's who we are. That's how we operate, and that's what you can count on from us. And our players coming in, and as we draw other players to this team, that's where we're going. And I hope that there's no misunderstanding at all, and it's clear to you what's shaking. Johnny?
Yeah, just so much respect for Bobby, Russell, everything the two of those guys have done and still continue to do in our community. Both guys are going to be missed, obviously, but, we're excited to be moving forward, excited to be, in this NFL that's ever-changing that you guys see and watch and write about all the time. The entertainment part of it, really does hit home. And so these are really difficult decisions to make. And we wish both those guys the very, very best. They'll be missed personally, professionally, obviously. I would say that, leading into this off season now, to be able to recognize the leaders that we're able to re-sign here with Quandre, Al Woods, Will Disley. You know, Jamal Adams is a great leader. You know, you guys haven't really even seen that much of Cody Barton yet because you haven't been around him, but he's an enthusiastic, hardworking young man. There's a lot of guys I could mention. To be able to re-sign those guys, our own free agents, to get going on this thing was a really, really big deal for us. And to have that leadership and build off it, and you know, the professionalism that Quandre showed last year throughout training camp and everything, and like, you know, we're still working on a bunch of our guys yet. You know, we just had a 3-day period here that we've been working through, but now free agency started, like Pete said, about an hour ago or 2 hours ago, and we're going to continue to try to re-sign our own, and you know, we're looking to upgrade with other guys from other teams as well. The trade itself with Russ was very unique, obviously historical. I'm not sure it's appropriate to say, you know, but from a, you know, I was not blessed, but, you know, to have the experience to go through what we went through in Green Bay, trading Brett Favre, God rest his soul, Ted Thompson, I was able to work hand in hand with him and a number of other people as, you know, we traded an iconic player, and the same thing with Russell here. Denver was phenomenal. George Payton, their general manager, I've known for a long time. He was great. You know, we were able to keep this thing really tight, answer the questions as appropriate as we both could all throughout that off-season period there. But you know, the guys coming in now, it's exciting, right? So like Pete was saying, you know, Drew Lock, we really liked him coming out. Can move in the pocket, has a hose. We're really excited to get him into our culture, into our building. Noah Fant's a 24-year-old, you know, 6'5", you know, 4'4". I mean, the guy's a freak, and so we're excited to get him in here, get him going. And then Shelby Harris is a pass rushing, 3 technique, hustle guy, gets his hands up in the passing lanes, and is going to be a fun guy to have in our locker room. We've added a couple guys here. You know, from other teams, we've come to agreements with Artie Burns, a corner from Chicago that Sean Desai has just coached, having been the defensive coordinator there. Also, Chenan Owusu from the Chargers, who we love coming out. Ivan Lewis is our strength conditioning coach, and thinks the world of him. And you know, funny story. We were actually walking down the hall before, and I said, Chenna, you know, I thought he knew about it, and he's like, oh, we got to go get that guy. You know, he'd be amazing and everything. And he's like, he'll run through the wall. I mean, he's a stud, you know. And I was like, well, didn't you hear? You know, I didn't thought you knew we got him. He was just all excited. So he knows him very well. We're really excited to bring him in. And Austin Blythe, you know, he's coached with Shane Waldron and Andy Dickerson down with the Rams. Those guys have coached him, and so they're real excited to bring him in. And yeah, also, you know, I forgot to mention Sidney Jones, who you know, we traded for last year. We came in, did a deal with him pretty early. I think it was maybe Saturday. Yeah. Days are running together here a little bit, but yeah. So excited about what's coming next. Preparing for the draft. You know, the guys are. I'm hopping back and forth between the draft room and Matt Thomas's office, trying to do some deals and you know, work with our staff in conjunction with the coaching staff. And like Pete was saying, from a culture standpoint, things haven't changed since we walked through the doors together in 2010, getting to learn each other and spend time together. And you know, it is like a family. It is like a marriage, as Pete has said over the years. You know, we don't, you know, necessarily agree on everything right away. Sometimes we see eye to eye. We got to work through things. We got to negotiate together. And you know, you have tough decisions to make. And we're excited to be working together and moving forward and seeing where we can take this thing.
Hey, let me say too, just to close up on the preliminary stuff before you guys ask questions, that we know that this trade affected us in a number of ways. We immediately, with players coming in, the draft
capital, yep.
Yeah, the draft capital that we gained this year's draft and next year's draft was a rare opportunity for us. We've drafted so often on the bottom of the rounds and stuff, and to get an opportunity to get these picks are huge. But also to make this happen, I think it's worth mentioning that we've had tremendous support from our ownership.
Yes.
Jody was incredibly tuned in. You guys have heard me talk before, but I'm going to say it again because it just happened all over again through this process. She supported us, challenged us. It demanded that we were sure what we were doing, and we could account for all of the thoughts and the background and all of the work that we needed to do to put this together. But when it came right down to it, she said, "What I see this doing to you guys, John, you're back in your wheelhouse, and Pete, you're back in your wheelhouse." And she's stating, knowing that we have so many opportunities to work and deal and wheel our, hopefully our creative approach to what we do and make really positive things happen. And she saw it in me too. The team's going to be a little bit younger here right off the bat because you're adding so many draft picks, that it goes right back to where we started with our program, that we were the youngest team to win the Super Bowl in history. Okay, we remember that. Well, there's some makeup to that. There's some design to that. And it's exciting to us to understand we're in that. With her support, it just made it where we functioned right through the process and we're able to pull this thing all together. And like Johnny said, it's historic for the franchise. I don't know about for the league, but it's one that we're gonna capitalize on. We're gonna make the very most out of this, and really, as we're in it and as we approach the opportunities, we're gonna kick butt in every aspect of it. So, okay.
You're in a place now you haven't been in, 10 plus years. You don't have Russell Wilson. You don't have the franchise quarterback piece that you've always had when you were building and reloading. Is it because of him wanting to be traded, you wanting to trade him? What was the impetus? How long did he want out of town?
Well, let me start with I've said a million times to you guys, I had no intention of moving on with the quarterback. I loved Russ and loved him in the program, and that's the way I was committed to doing it, and I felt that way all the way throughout. And then the opportunity became available where, okay, there's a business opportunity here, we can see it, now we have a chance to take a look, and we did. We took a look, and we're surprised at how good a deal came to us, and how that was all, Johnny facilitated that with the work of their people and made it happen. To me, Greg, it's not about blaming anybody or forcing the issues to any particular. Everybody had to agree to this eventually, and so we did, and really, it opened up some doorways that we didn't think existed really at the time.
John, is it true that he had told you guys that he wouldn't sign another contract with you guys?
I don't know if those were the exact words, but we were under the impression that there wouldn't be a long-term extension.
What was the relationship like? I mean, there's been all sorts of reports and speculation about that, but what was the relationship like in your guys' eyes, and did you feel like the relationship was in a place where you could have continued it?
Well, I've told you guys for a long
Yes.
time, Russ and I worked really hard at our relationship. Just like this relationship, it takes work. When you go through years and years and years and all of the challenges and the trials and tribulations and all, and we made it through it. Russ and I made it through it, and I love Russ, and he's like one of my own, and we went through so much stuff together, and so it also brought us to the point where we could talk about this. It eventually, okay, now we're talking about it, and so we were able to move from there after our conversations and the depth of the conversations. We were able to move and okay, let's take a look at the opportunities, and this is what resulted out of it. I don't think it could have happened had we not had, in the fashion that it happened, had we not had the depth of relationship. And so,
To the people who would ask, I guess, why couldn't you repair the relationship or whatever? I mean, did it just get to a point?
it wasn't about that.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
about
wasn't about
repairing.
relationship. It was about opportunity. It was really about opportunity. And I know Russ may describe it differently, but I really, as I watched it all take place, I think Russ was really. He was open for another chance, and to see what could happen, and he'd seen a lot of great players and great athletes do a lot of great things by making that move somewhere in their career, whether it was the quarterbacks that we know of, what happens in the NBA, baseball guys do it, he's just seen that happen, and I think it intrigued him, and so it made it available after a long discussion, a lot of time together and all of that we were eye to eye. We both, okay, all right, let's go down this road and see what happens. Knowing that it was still extraordinarily difficult to make a deal happen. It was so hard because there was 3 different elements to this as well as all the rest of it to make it come together. And so we were going to have to work together, and if it was going to take shape, all the while thinking that it might not go. And so.
Yeah, I would say the odds were not high.
No, gosh,
mean-
no, gosh, no. It was really difficult. But I think because we hung in there and because we had the background and relationship, we were able to make it through it and make some sense of it. And you know, it's going to benefit Russ and going forward. It's going to benefit our club going forward too.
John, how excited in terms of why he might have wanted to change?
You have to ask him. I don't know. You know, ask him about that. But yeah, I got all kinds of thoughts, but I don't need to share those with you.
John, you're a guy who always looks ahead. When you look at these next, not just this year, but next year's draft as well, having 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 years, or 3 2s this year. But what does that kind of draft capital for multiple years do in terms of giving you options?
Oh, it's enormous. You know, when we made the Jamal trade, you know, it was you're talking about COVID years here, so you have 2 really funky years, and so you know, to be able to get the 9th pick, right, and then to be able to you know, get to 40 and 41 for us was big, especially in this draft. And yeah, we're going to pick 8 times. I say that I have no idea how many times we're going to pick, right? But yeah, no, that was it's really big. And then especially next year when the majority of the cap space comes into effect with Russell's contract, and then you know the draft capital next year as well with the 2 1s and the 2 2s. So, you know, 4 picks in the first 2 rounds.
John, how much were your hands tied by Wilson's demands? How many teams did you have to be able to bounce off each other, or were you stuck on Denver or else?
Wow, yeah, that's probably for a long time from now to be able to discuss. You know, we just, I wouldn't say hands were tied. We had a ton of people calling, obviously, and you know, we weren't out shopping him, and so, you know, there was obviously a number of teams that I had to call when we ended up making that trade. You know, to say, hey, you know, this came together over time. Wasn't sure if it was going to happen. You know, I had to, you know, repair some relationships, and that's fine. Everybody was great, but you know, there was just a couple teams that you know, were considerations, and Russell had a no trade clause in his contract. I think everybody's well aware of that.
Quarterback of his caliber to get moved, especially at this stage of his career. You said you weren't going to emphasize specifics, but 1 playoff win since 2016. Do you think that had a major bearing on him wanting to see to get his score again?
There's no reason for me to speculate on that. You ask him.
You guys have mentioned Drew Lock a few times, but do you feel like he's the answer, or are you going to continue to explore options at quarterback with the veteran guys or the draft, or you know, where is that?
We'll continue to explore options, but we have a ton of faith in Drew. We're excited about it. We're excited about a change of scenery for him. You know, I know a couple of my buddies that were trying to acquire him all last spring into the fall. You know, so he's a guy that you know, in my opinion, the media's beat down a little bit. So we're excited to get him into our culture with our coaching staff, and we'll continue to look for guys to compete with them. You know, as Pete has stated earlier, you know, Gino did a nice job for us. There's a number of guys that are still available, and we're going to continue to work through that.
I think I know what your answer is going to be from your earlier comment, but you don't view this as a rebuild from trading your quarterback away and the way you're going about things.
We're right back at it. Really, we're going right back at it. We haven't even. Hasn't been a step backwards. You know, we're going forward to do it right now, and everybody that's coming in here is coming in here to do that right now. And, you know, share a little story with you. When you're in college, you know, every 4 or 5 years, you know, you lose all your guys, you know, and you start new quarterbacks. You know, we were, I don't know, 9 years at USC, and we had, you know, Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart and then Sanchez and Booty and Barkley, you know, and you just keep marching. That's how you do it, you know, and you, if you have an approach and a philosophy that you're solidly behind and you can keep in motion going forward and keep growing with it, then you just keep moving. And it's kind of, I've looked at it a little bit that way. It's like, you know, the guys graduate eventually here. It just comes much later in their time. It takes them longer to get out of school, but it's, you know, so we're just going, just keep on rolling.
And if you'll remember, you know, when we got here in 2010, Todd Leibicki would tell you that, you know, the primary reason that they wanted us to get together was that, you know, Pete had been in college coaching and had the, you know, the rotation of players running through, and, you know, they became so talented there. The players were leaving. A lot of them were leaving in their junior year, and, you know, we had moved from Green Bay, and we were the youngest team in the league for shoot, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years or something like that. So it was all about acquiring young talent, developing young talent, and putting them out there to compete. And that was the core of our core
We got
philosophy.
to make this the most competitive roster in the NFL. That's what we're out to do, and that means all the way through the ranks. And that means you're going to get young, but we're going to mix it with a group of experienced players as well as we already have, and that's the chemistry we have to create.
For all the love that there is for Bobby Wagner, he's expressed publicly disappointment that he found out elsewhere that he was going to be released. Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, that's on me. I own that.
Yeah, I say that. That's on me. You know.
No, it really is.
No, it's on me.
It's look, I wish I could have handled things better in that regard from a communication standpoint. I owe it to him. The organization owes it to him. It's always somewhat awkward when a player represents himself. We've had some very high-profile individuals represent themselves here, and you never know exactly what's going to happen at the end of the day. So to approach somebody and say there may be a possible trade, would you consider this? And then that player comes back to you. That's not a good situation. So from a timing standpoint, I wish I would have handled things differently.
Yeah, I'm guilty too because I didn't want it to happen. I want Bobby to stay with us forever, and so I wanted and kept encouraging John, let's see what all the options could possibly be. So maybe there's a way out that we don't have to do this, And so each day was crucial as we were drawing closer to it. And then really it seemed like when Russ's news went out, then everything, hit the fan kind of thing. And we were supposed to meet with Bobby a couple days after that, and the timing just didn't work out right. And I regret that we didn't do a better job timing-wise. I don't know how he hurt me. You all were talking about it left and right, and in the articles and all over the internet and everything about it. So it was, the suggestions were out. But anyway, I just wish it's a hard deal. It's a really hard.
Too much respect, to have something like that happen. We did speak with him. We did talk to him together. We walked through things. So it wasn't like we didn't speak with him. It was just the timing, right? So.
Yeah, and I was delaying as much as I could because I loved him so much.
Who told who then? How did it get out before you told him?
I don't know. It didn't get out any different than what you guys were already talking about stuff. He just finally, I think, latched on to because you were talking about it in the media constantly, but something happened. I don't know what it was with Bobby on his end of it, but.
Well, I would say this: when you represent yourself, I'm just speaking. If it was me, I'd be talking to as many teams. Yeah. I'd be talking to as many agents as I possibly could. When you haven't, I'm not discouraging players from not representing themselves. I'm not going down that road at all. I'm just saying when you do have an agent, there's a certain level, there's a certain buffer that goes on there. That being said, from a communication standpoint, so much respect that we owe that to him.
What was the team's offer to him? Was it a all or nothing? Did you offer him less money? He didn't accept it, or what was the?
We're not going to get into that. Sorry, we're not going to get into specifics of contracts and what happens here and there with contracts. It's not. We've never discussed that.
Well, let me ask another way. Was there another option besides playing out his contract for him to stay here?
I would say no.
To clarify with the timing of all that, there's report from Adam Schefter was that you guys had told him that you're releasing him. So when that report came out, you had spoken to him.
Yes.
You mentioned Colin Kaepernick. How realistic an option is that?
I don't know that, but he's making a remarkable bid for it to sustain his conditioning over the 4 years that he's been out and going on 5. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see.
What about Deshaun Watson? Did you guys reach out to the Texans about acquiring Deshaun Watson?
The way to answer that is that he's under contract right now, and he has a no-trade clause as well.
You said you guys feel real confident in Drew. Do you guys think you could win a championship with Drew Lock as the quarterback in 2022?
If he plays like he did early on, I think he got a shot. If you go back to his first year when he was balling as a rookie, when he was 4-1.
Yeah, he tied John Elway's record for most wins as a rookie, right?
Yeah, in 5 games. Yeah,
history, so.
His third down numbers, were terrific. Taking care of the football really well, and all. It just didn't, for whatever reason. the coordinator left after that time. Times changed for him, and he didn't play to that same level. So exactly what we had evaluated, John's, the process had evaluated, he showed. And so, John stayed with it and followed him all the way through his career, and we've watched it happen. We think he's still that guy. And so we'll see, if he can. What we need in our offense is the same thing we've always needed, whether it was Carson Palmer or Russell Wilson. We need a point guard. We need a guy that plays the game and moves the football around to the guys that are open and does all of the things that manages the game so that we can play great football. Because we're going to win with defense, we're going to win with how we play in special teams, and we'll run the football to help the whole thing fit together. That's never changed. It's never been a philosophy that we needed to alter other than to continue to grow and make it dynamic and present and current and all. And that's what we're looking for. We need to take care of the football. And so that, if the guy can do that and we can teach him to do that, and Russell was famous for it. He did an extraordinary job through all of his early years when he was learning the NFL and gaining, his understanding. He was terrific at taking care of the ball, and we'll need a guy that will do that. Right now, if Gino's going to take it. Gino knows our offense the best. If he comes back to us, he has an opportunity to run the whole thing. We saw him do it during the season. We've got to bring Drew along, see how far he can take it. And the competition is on. It ain't no different than when Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson went at it. Same kind of deal, and to me, and we'll set up a schedule and we'll figure out all of the guys, and we're going to give Jake Eason a shot as well. We want to see where he fits into it. It was a 3-man competition, if you remember back then, and we'll see how it goes. And we've already been through this before, so it's exciting to format it and see how it turns out, and we'll see where it takes us.
John's been reported that Noah Fant was a guy you guys liked back in the draft. Just what do you like about him as a player, and what can he bring to you?
Yeah, liked, had his name written down. I mean, it was that close, right? I mean, we thought he was coming to us. Yeah, so, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's, again, a big man that is young. He went through a rough time early on. Unfortunately, he lost his mother right before the season. Really did a really nice job, in our opinion, of still going out and competing. And he caught 68 balls. He's a huge target, and he can run.
Yeah, it's a great target for us.
You mentioned Cody Barton. Do you view him as the heir apparent to Bobby then there, or where do you see that position?
He's the next guy up. He's worked really hard to position himself. He's always been that backup spot. We wish him the best, and again, let the competition, play it out.
How close were negotiations with DJ Reed? Was it similar to Shaq Griffin last year, where it went down to the wire?
Yeah, I would say it was similar. Yes.
Back to Russell and just the idea of where the quarterback market has gone. You guys have kind of been in that world where you had the inexpensive rookie deal and you were able to build around that. And then you had to build around the very expensive contract with knowing that Russell was a year away from being eligible for an extension. How much did that play into the decision making?
I think it's a very good question, very fair. It did play in to a certain extent at the very end when, like Sunday night, or when we're having our powwow, right? Like, how's this going to go down? And so yeah, that played in.
Rookies, this 2022 class isn't like super highly regarded, maybe compared to like last year's class. How do you
According
to well, how do you feel about the class? You can take a quarterback at 9 now?
We would never answer that question, Michael. We would never answer that question. Why did you ask that?
I think it's a talented group.
There you go.
I mean, it's a talented group of guys. I mean, I forget what year it was. There was
backs were talented too. Tight ends. Those receivers are looking sharp.
You see how he's trying to break that off right there, Sean? Like,
just working Mike.
Byrd, where do you see him fitting in? I mean, how do you view that with having lost DJ and kind of having re-signed Sydney inside?
Well, 2 years ago we got very close to signing him. We thought we were going to do it coming from Pittsburgh, and then at the very end, he had a close friend. I forget who it was that played for Chicago, and went there, and then he ended up getting injured. And then you could see him really ascending this season, and Sean.
Yeah, Sean did a great job with him.
Yeah, Sean did a great job.
Like we had really good information, and he's a talented kid, and so he can do all the stuff that we would like him to do. So we're looking forward to it.
As you look at the last couple nights, so you talked about that Sunday night meeting when you were getting to the finality of the trade with Russ and everything. I know you worked on it for a while. As it got down to the finish line, was there a surreal sense or finality sense, like, okay, we're doing this, we're going a different direction, and what was that like for you two?
Absolutely, yeah.
Sure it was.
Again, I compared it to, with Brett Favre, right? I mean, you know how it's going to affect fans. So, Pete and myself and Jody and Bert, we were involved in a call and had discussions about it and what's it going to look like. But we were able to kind of prepare ourselves mentally much earlier than a lot of other people were. So it's going to affect the fans, right? So. And I remember going through it with Brett. So there was a little shock, right? And, nobody knew who Aaron Rodgers was. And I shouldn't say that they didn't know who he was, but they didn't know how talented he was. So we relied on that faith and moved forward. And, several years later in 2011, I think they won the Super Bowl.
How much earlier did you realize that? When did you come to the realization you didn't want to be here?
Days I couldn't even get close to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Days, weeks, months, years? I mean, really?
No, it was not a deal till it was a done deal. I mean, it was all the way till, just the last couple of days, and we just announced it officially today, traded papers today, so it wasn't official till today.
Right, but I mean, his intent to leave and want to leave Seattle, when did you get the impression that was true?
Yeah, that's a
I don't know.
tough one to answer.
We talked about it through the offseason, a little
Two
bit.
more,
of the offseason.
Mark. Yeah. Hey, Pete, going back to you won't change your philosophy for a player, both of you. How much does a talented player impact your philosophy?
Great question. Yeah, that's exactly the point. You have your philosophy, but it's the players that make it come to take shape. You have an idea of how you want things to go, and then we fit it off the uniqueness of the players. I mean, I've been saying that forever to you guys, that we have to feel our guys and figure out how they best can be situated so that they can be at their best within the guidelines of what we think is necessary. So it's a blending, and that's why it takes a different shape. And there may be some differences in this just because we're transitioning some key players in key spots. We'll see how that goes. Wide open for that. Wide open for that. I'll take wherever it takes us. Because that's the only way to compete to do it. I'm not going to force anything to happen. I'm not going to force the peg in the wrong hole. I'm not doing that. But we have guidelines and we have beliefs and things that are really important to us. And then we find the players, and it takes this kind of this dance that we do, and it comes together in a marvelous way. So it's going to be situated and fixed towards the talent and the personalities and the makeup and the character of our players.
Last question, Jackie.
You guys have said a couple times that you're excited for the future of this franchise, and I'm building a championship team now. What are you most excited for the future?
Winning freaking football games and a bunch of them, really, and getting the feeling. Last year kind of sucked, and that was that one time, we had that kind of space in the schedule here, and we're just going right back to business. We're going for it. So everybody's coming here. It's going to be part of this. Is well aware, and that's the only way we're looking at it. Let's go right now.
To get back to your quarterback question, Michael. So one thing we haven't done, like my mentor did all the time, in Green Bay, that we haven't done a very good job of here for one reason or another, just the way the draft falls, is we haven't picked quarterbacks. He was able to pick, even though we had Brett, he was able to pick Mark Brunell, Ty Detmer, Aaron Brooks. We had a number of guys that became assets. And I don't know why, but just for some reason since we've been here, it hasn't really fallen that way. Now, when we took Russ, we had signed Matt Flynn. T-Jack was here. Remember, he had Torres Pack. He was kind of like he was like the locker room guy. Then we brought Matt in. So why would you draft a quarterback, right? So all of a sudden, Russ is still there. We loved him. Bang. So,
I think I probably influenced you on that one the most.
Well, I got cut off a little bit, but so the class is really it's a good class. To your point, it's not people aren't highly rating it or whatever, but you never know where you're going to way through, right? Where the Russell Wilsons and the Tom Bradys, right? So you have to look at the totality of the class.
Thank you, everyone.
See. Sorry.
All right, guys, we just all got together and watched the Pete Carroll, John Schneider press conference. The first time those guys have spoken publicly since the Wilson trade. They said quite a few things. It wasn't a very long press conference, but they said a lot And I don't know why that... Okay. You know what? We're redoing that. I'm redoing that. I don't know what is wrong with my Streamlabs, but it's becoming untenable. Okay. All right, guys. The Pete Carroll, John Schneider presser just wrapped up. The wasn't very long, but it's the first time they've spoken publicly since they traded Wilson. So they said a lot of things in a short period of time. So I'm taking really one big thing away from this press conference. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really care about the incoherent stuff he was talking about with second chances, because that doesn't really matter to me. Whether or not they're actual legitimate second chances, like he was talking about giving Jamal a second chance after he made All-Pro, and that's nonsense. But whatever, okay, fine, put it whatever way you want to put it. Regardless of any of that, he's here. I don't care about him talking up Drew Lock, because he has no choice but to do that right now, because he's on the team and he may be our starter. He's not going to go out there and say, oh, we don't like Drew Lock, he's just here because we have no choice. I don't have a problem with him saying that kind of stuff. I'm not even that mad about the obvious bull that he was spinning about the Wilson trade. He was like, oh, we didn't want to trade him, but then we got this amazing opportunity. Yeah, that's crap. But you know what? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Wilson's traded. So I'm not tripping on that. I'm not even tripping on how incoherent he sounded, because I already expect that, guys. I know he's 71 years old and a little crazy. I'm not even tripping on that part. That's whatever. And the stuff about Bobby Wagner, they basically just admitted, they told on themselves how incompetent they are as an organization right now, that they botched that whole situation. Carroll said it was because we respect him so much that we didn't want to release him, and we did it at the last second, which he then went on to basically indicate that he didn't... I don't even know. It sounded like they didn't know what the hell happened with the Bobby Wagner thing, but you know what? That's over and done with. At the end of the day, whether or not they tell him, he's still getting released, so I'm not even tripping on that. But there is one thing in this press conference that I'm taking away. It's that Carroll reiterated multiple times that we're not rebuilding. And I don't believe a lot of the things that he says at this point. I don't believe that he's married to Drew Lock. I don't believe that he's married to somebody like whoever else he brings in to give a second chance. You know, I'm not biting all the way down on that apple. That's whatever. That's just him talking. I don't buy it. Even the Kaepernick stuff, like he paid some lip service to that, but I don't think that means anything as of right now. But he was very emphatic on the fact that he is not looking to rebuild. He wants to win the Super Bowl right now, and he'll talk up Drew Lock in public, but I have to believe that in private he understands the need to get a better quarterback if he really wants to make a run at this. So with the stuff that happened today, I think we are going to try to find our QB of the future in this draft, and I think we are going to throw him out there day one or very close to day one. That's the real takeaway for me from this press conference. It was incoherent, nonsensical. Pete said stuff about how, well, I'm never going to change my philosophy, which is obviously not true because we're switching to a 3-4 defense. We're obviously changing our philosophy on that level. So I don't pay a lot of credence to the stuff that he said. I don't. But I do believe him when he says we don't believe in rebuilding. So we're not throwing this season away. We are not going to just take our 4-win season. We are going to try to win. Which also means, by the way, that if this season goes badly and we don't win, If we don't win this year, then we actually should be able to hold him accountable to that. So I guess I like that. That's really all I got from this press conference. That's just my snap reaction here. Let me know what you guys thought about it. I know a lot of it was nonsensical, incoherent, and weird. It seemed like Pete had a hard time stringing his words together, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just looking for substance. I'm looking for the substance, and the main substance that I took away from this: Pete's not rebuilding. We're going to try to find a way to win games this year. And because of that, I have to believe we are going to try to find a way to find a better quarterback. So, see you guys later. Go Hawks. We'll be streaming for a couple more hours here. And, yeah, that's what I'm taking away from things right now. See y'all later. Whew. Wow. I refuse to believe Carroll actually is that high on Drew Lock. Refuse to believe it. AJ Boye on 1 year, $5 million, I guess. Yeah, that's what I said, Daniel. That's a good point, Hazik. But again, I'm not. Look, why Wilson is gone doesn't matter, really. The bottom line is he's gone. So I'm not even going to trip on that. Like, that's a different conversation. What I am going to trip on is the fact that we're not rebuilding. So I'm going to keep that in mind going forward. I have no problem with Carroll not telling us who he wants to draft. Like, why would he tell us who he wants to draft? Byron D, thank you for the elite membership subscription. Welcome. Welcome to the club, Byron D. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Pete not telling us who he's going to draft. I mean, come on, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not the problem. The problem is he sounds like he's on speed. There's nothing wrong with him being overly effusive in his praise of players like Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. How in the hell did we give Jamal Adams a second chance? He was an all-pro in New York. He was one of the best players in football. How did we give him... Oh, God. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter, so I'm not mad about it, but that doesn't make any sense. That's... What does that mean? Saint Lawrence, welcome to the channel. Tumbo Pete said that. He was talking about, free agency is all about giving people second chances. We gave Marshawn Lynch a second chance when we brought him from Buffalo. We gave Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs second chances when we got them. We gave Darrell Taylor a second chance. Like, that's all nonsense. But, like, it doesn't matter, so I'm not even going to trip on it. It's just incoherent and kind of funny. We didn't give Darrell Taylor a second chance. We gave him a first chance. Okay. Well, Kufui, then 2 minutes later, he said, we're not going to have a rebuilding season. Steve Hunter, welcome to the channel. Well, that was exhausting, but we made it to the end. So, we've got almost 400 people in here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. We are having a good time. We're going to go for maybe another hour, maybe a little more. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. You can become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. And we are still $60 short of the stream donation goal for the day. We're up to about 40. We need 60 more to get to the goal. And yeah, that was quite an interesting sequence of events. But most of it to me is just more amusing than it is actually upsetting. Chiefs retain offensive lineman Andrew Wiley on a 1-year deal. Seattle Seahawks did not give qualifying offers to Bless Austin, Kyle Fuller, John Ursua, and Gavin Heslop. I maybe would have given it to Bless Austin, but it's not a big deal. Thank you, 22 Vibes. No, black pill is this. This is the black pill. This is 100% the black pill. What you're talking about was the red pill. All right, Chris Bryant went to the Rockies. Hassan Ridgeway signs with the 49ers. I love that. I don't want Baker unless they're giving him away. If they're giving him away, then you only have him for 1 year and it's fine. But I don't want to. I don't really. I'm not high on Baker. But guys, don't get mad. Don't get mad at him for praising Drew Lock. Don't get mad at him for praising Drew Lock. I'm serious. Frank Darcy, thank you for the $20. Great job as always, Brendon. I appreciate that, Frank Darcy. Appreciate that. Von Miller to the Bills. Holy Magoli. We got ourselves a big one on hook. That is a pretty big deal. That Bills defense could use it. Oh, that's a good one. Buffalo got themselves a pretty good one. I didn't want Von Miller that much, honestly. If because I'm not convinced that this year's going to be good, but I did want him more than Chandler Jones. I'll say that. That's a good signing for Buffalo. I like it. Clowney would be nice, man. If we're actually trying to win this year, then yeah, you should get Clowney. Wait, what? You gotta be kidding me. 6 year. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. That is a terrible contract. He got more than. Wow. Holy crap. He got the Joe Flacco contract. He literally got the Joe Flacco contract. He's going to be under contract until he's 40. This guy's already tore his Achilles like twice, right? Never mind. Wow. Hmm. Okay, that contract better have an easy out, or else that's ridiculous. That's like. That's almost as bad as the Christian Kirk contract. Unless there's like some easy way out. Through the first 4 years, the deal averages 17.5 million per year. That still seems excessive to me. I don't like it. The cap is going to have to go way up because Von Miller is at the age where he could just fall off a cliff. The good news is the Seahawks did enough things today where I don't have to fill the dead space by talking about the Von Miller contract. Like I can just, focus on the Seahawks and not make content about the NFL. Well, the Rams lose another one. I don't think they're too sad about losing him for that price. Thank you, Dylan Dang. I'm gonna have to start talking myself into Malik Willis, huh? I'm gonna have to start talking myself into Malik Willis at 9. I think I can get there. I mean, having a good quarterback is really, really valuable. But we miss out on Thibodeau. Fart. Fart. Pittsburgh doesn't have 10. Pittsburgh has 20. I'm going to try to talk myself into it. Malik actually ran a pretty lackluster 40 time, for whatever that's worth. Hmm. Really? I was reading in some Hawks Nest comments that he ran like basically the same 40 time that Jalen Hurts did. He actually ran slower than Jalen Hurts. I know his pro day is still coming up. So maybe we'll learn different there, but apparently he ran a slower 40 than Jalen Hurts. Hold on. Let me check. um, yeah, somebody in the comments said that Malik ran a 4.74 and Matt Corral ran a 4.8. Maybe that's just fake. The Lion Bros, I thought today was pretty good. I don't have a big problem with what we did today. If we get Trenton Brown tomorrow, then at least I'll be able to synthesize the plan. Yeah, Von Miller is getting a little too much money. O.J. Howard to the Bills. Okay. Doom Train, 26 million. Captain Rex, it kind of seems like it. Of course, I'm not happy with the Adams trade, but he's a good player. O.J. Howard going to break out in Buffalo. One year, 3.5. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the support. 1 year, 3.5. Okay. Andy Spolstra, welcome to the channel. I don't want Landry. Barkley, maybe, but I wouldn't give up anything real for him. Brando, probably. Zach Holt, I'm not sure, but we have cap space. I wouldn't even worry about it that much. If they want more money, they can make more money. What are your expectations for this coming season? I need to know who the quarterback is before I can set expectations. You can't tell me we're going to win with Drew Lock. So I do think Malik Willis is the most likely candidate right now, but there's no guarantee you can even get him. David Mitchell, welcome. Well, Cleo the God, he has to say that right now. That doesn't mean he believes it. And he better not believe that. Like, if you believe that, then you goofy. Even Bill Belichick couldn't win a Super Bowl with a substandard quarterback. Greatest coach in NFL history. He didn't even make the playoffs when he had a bad quarterback. No, Dylan Gang, because they're both left tackles. Marked for death, without looking at the tape, which I will probably have to do now. I'm guessing it's because there was limited film on him when he came into the NFL, and then teams eventually learned his tendencies. Oh, okay, cool, Fooey. Okay, that makes it better. That sure as hell makes it better. That better be the case. Okay, Jav. No problem. Oh, Trenton Brown. Yeah, that would be amazing, actually. I thought you meant Dwayne Brown. Okay. Yeah, Trenton Brown. Yeah, sign me up for that. By the way, we have 95 members. I know it says 94 in the meter, but we do have one unofficial member. Good. That's a good question, Vandez. Hey, Herbicide. Yeah, that's the other problem with this. Even if Willis is the plan, you have no guarantee you'll be able to take Willis. Why would you assume that? You can't even assume you're going to get Matt Corral. If we could get Trenton Brown for $7 million a year, that would be really exciting. Ghost, he's not a perfect scheme fit, but in this offense, it's more important that the interior lineman can block. Joe Schobert got released. I'm sorry, the interior lineman can move. The tackles are not as important. Like, okay, in 2012, when you were trying to win a Super Bowl that year, you had Matt Flynn. And Matt Flynn, you didn't know. You didn't know what he was, right? You were like, this guy could be good. This guy could be bad. We'll see. We'll see what's up. He showed positive signs. You had reason to believe that Matt Flynn would be good. Drew Lock, you have a ton of reason to believe that he's bad. And very little reason to believe that he's good. It's completely different. Tony, if they actually go with Locke, I don't care. This is a quarterback-driven league. Think about how many games in the NFL... Think about how many games in the NFL come down to the game is close at the end, one team has the ball and they're trailing, or it's tied, and they need to drive down the field, and either they drive down the field and win the game, or they don't drive down the field and they lose the game. So many games come down to that. You need a quarterback who can get it done in those situations. And I mean, to me, one of the reasons why this team felt comfortable moving on from Wilson was because he stopped being good in those situations. The last year and a half, every time he got the ball at the end of a close game, things went bad and we lost. So, you do need that quarterback. Somebody better than Drew Lock. Mega Diehard 75, welcome to the channel. Like the Rams, the last 3 playoff games the Rams won, they won because their quarterback was able to lead them down the field and come up with drives late in the fourth quarter to win the game. They did it against the Bucks, the 49ers, and the Bengals. Matthew Stafford's not the best quarterback, but he's good enough to come up with that last drive when it's all on him. It's all on him in that spot. Kaloy V, welcome to the channel. Because you're not really running the ball in those spots. You're going to run the ball on maybe 10% of the plays. And it all comes down to your ability to execute that end of game situation. You can't tell me Drew Lock is capable. Well, Alan Wilson, I mean, Carroll keeps telling us, we're not rebuilding, we're going to try to win this year, so we're going to build a team, in theory, that can win this year, and if it doesn't win this year, then I am going to hold him accountable to that. Drew Lock might be the worst starting quarterback in the league. Name me a starting quarterback in the league right now who's worse than Drew Lock. Nightmare, I'm not sure exactly, but it's enough to sign more players if we want to. Okay, Nightmare? You're getting timed out. I think Darnold's better. I think Davis Mills is better. Goff is definitely better. Tua's better. Matt Ryan's better. Mitch might be about the same. I think Mayfield's better. I know, Daniel, exactly. Well, he's not a good blocker. Well, I'm going to give Drew Lock a chance if he's the guy, but based off what we've seen, there's no reason to believe he's good. So, if we don't have a good year this year, then I better not hear Carroll coming out at the end of the year going, "Oh, well, we're rebuilding," right? Like if that happens, we're going to have I'm going to and he just thinks we're all going to just have our memories washed. It's not happening. Ghost, thank you for the $4.99. Did you hear them say they gave Daryl Taylor a second chance? That didn't make any sense. Also, thoughts on Jody's comments? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he said we gave Marshawn Lynch a second chance. No, we didn't. He was good in Buffalo. We didn't give Quandre Diggs a second chance. People in Detroit loved him. And I don't really have any thoughts on Jody's comments. Like, they were pretty businesslike, pretty straightforward. Well, Derpy, but Carroll throws that right away when he spends all this time in the press conference talking about how much he loves Drew Lock. I mean, I understand he has no choice but to say that, but if you actually go into this season with Drew Lock, then it's on you. If you come out and say we're going to rebuild, you need to trust the process, then I'll be cool with it. Like, if Pete Carroll came out today and said, okay, guys, we're rebuilding. This is going to be a gap year. This is going to be a bridge year. We're going to lose a bunch of games. It's not going to go well, but it's a process. Trust the process. Then I would be like, okay, that's okay. But for him to come out and say, no, we're not doing any of that, then I'm not giving him that. Oh, Noah Fant's very talented, Nate. There's no doubt about it. He's got to get a little better. But I'm definitely willing to give him a chance. Adrian Goldback, welcome to the channel. Tom Cox, some fans wouldn't, but at least they would be being honest about it. And some fans would understand. Like, look at the 76ers fans. They were awful for 4 straight seasons. They trusted the process for 4 straight seasons. Because the front office was real with them. They told them, like, this, you're going to have to trust the process, and most of them did. And some of them probably didn't, but they were enough of a minority to where those guys were able to keep their job. That's my point. Ghost. Maybe. I guess we still got to address this offensive line a little bit more. Well, yeah, Tom, I understand that, but I don't. I mean, honestly, I believe him when he says that. I believe him when he says we're not rebuilding. I, I love a rebuild. I'll take a rebuild, no problem. I'll do a rebuild. Just do an honest rebuild though. Don't half-ass it because you're in such a big hurry to win again. I mean, I'll say this: if you are actually trying to win this year, then you definitely can't move forward with Forsyth and Curhan. So you do need to address that. Nightmare, because you were spamming chat. Read my rules. They're on screen. Jody will probably sell the moment she can, but she can't for another few years. Maybe Matt Corral. It's in the contract. She cannot sell for 25 years after the stadium got built. It was part of the agreement with the city. I'm not a big Baker Mayfield guy, but you could rent him for a year and it's fine. Trey Flowers released from the Detroit Lions. Wow, he had a fat contract. He got like what, that $90 million deal? He's pretty good. I don't think he would fit this defense though. Jeff Bezos may buy it, yeah. CR, I think we're getting a quarterback now. You can't tell me he loves Drew Lock half as much as he says. No, Luca. I would much rather have our situation than the Cowboys situation. The Cowboys situation is worse than ours, straight up. Oh, he definitely would, Liquid. He definitely would. I think it's really, really hard to move any team that has been reasonably successful lately, especially when you're moving them out of state. Like Stephen Jones, when he becomes the owner of the Cowboys when Jerry dies, that is probably the worst. That is probably the worst owner in the league, and it's not even close. He is going to be a disaster. He is significantly worse than Jerry, and that's saying something. Lions cut Trey Flowers. He does play end in a 3-4, huh? Daryl Fisher, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the channel. No, the Cowboys are in a worse situation 100%. Stephen Jones is a cheap ass. nolanrvance, thank you for the $5. Brock Heward saying on 710 Lock is better than any QB in this draft. That may be possible. I guess it depends. I mean, this is not a very hyped QB class, but there's probably going to be one or two guys who ends up being good. We just don't know who yet. How is Steven worse than Jerry? Steven's cheap. Like, okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the Randy Gregory situation. I don't know if you guys were following that at all. So Jerry Jones really wants to keep Randy Gregory, so he negotiates a contract with Will McClay with Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory's like, okay, good contract, cool, I'm going to sign this. This is my deal. I'm staying. Stephen Jones basically sneaks into the room after Jerry and Will McClay leave and rewrites the contract so it's easier to get out after like 2 years. Randy Gregory looks at that and he's like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm not signing it. I'm going to Denver and signing the exact same deal that Dallas offered him in the first place. And Jerry Jones tried to scramble to undo what his son had done, but it was too late. And then Stephen Jones went to DeMarcus Lawrence and tried to get him to rip up his current contract and take a 1-year, $10 million contract. And DeMarcus Lawrence was so offended that he asked to be released. Jerry Jones had to swoop in and convince him to stay. So that's bad. Stephen Jones is a cheap ass. That to me is way worse than what we have, because here's the thing. Eventually, guys like Carroll and Schneider are going to leave. Stephen Jones will never leave because he owns the team. Once Stephen Jones takes over that team, he's going to be there for 40 years, probably. They are stuck with him. There is nothing they can do to get away from him. You can always fire Carroll and Schneider eventually, but you can't fire the owner. So I think Stephen Jones is going to be atrocious as an owner because he thinks he's the GM as well. And also, by the way, he should have paid Dak after 3 years, but he waited until 5 years, so he had to pay him like probably 40, 50 million more than he would have otherwise. Like, if you're not going to pay him, then just don't pay him. Don't pay him later. Just release him. Or sign him after 3 years. One second. I'm sorry, what was that? Ah. Welcome, Echo Alpha. Mhm. But anyway, yeah, Jerry Jones is a terrible owner, but Steven's going to be much worse. Crotanic, welcome to the channel. Birdie, I would be willing to. I would not turn that down. I know, Governor Party Tits. I can't believe this many people are unironically bringing up Kaepernick. Like, if you want to go 0-17, just play Jacob Eason. He's already there. Why would you spend $1 million to go get Kaepernick for the exact same result? Yeah, Locke has a big arm. It's just that's all he has. He's got a cannon. Hmm. Trent Brown, he might get like 8 mil or 9 mil a year, I would guess, but sometimes weird stuff happens with these players' markets value that we can't predict. Are the Seahawks in a rebuild? It doesn't seem to be the case. All right, has anything happened in the last few minutes here? Now that it's official, I just want to say that Russ will miss it here and is going to find out what it's like not playing for Pete Carroll. Oh, and that will be in my book too. G. Scott Sr. What is that supposed to mean? Game day host for the Seattle Seahawks. What the hell does that supposed to mean? Yeah, Diego, I kind of like it. I kind of like it, yeah. I think Armstead at this point is... McKissick may change his mind. Oh my god, this guy is Dwight Howarding it. He's Dwight Howarding it. J.D. McKissick is the new age Dwight Howard. Except he's a decent third down back and not the best center in the league. Wow, that's funny. Gronk is saying he's going to come back to Tampa Bay. Like, he wasn't even playing that good by the end of the season, and he looks like he's not having fun out there. I don't know why he's coming back. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would 100%, I would rather have Drew Lock 100 times than Cam Newton. Like, that's, not only is Drew Lock much better than Cam right now, but he also has more upside. He actually has some potential to get better. Cam Newton is only going to get worse because he's old and broken, so definitely not that, but Eric Flowers from Washington is a guard. So I'm not super interested in that. I know, but all Gronk is going to do is give himself like 8 more concussions, and then he's probably going to die when he's 42. Like, how is that helping anybody? How is that good? Well, the last year we made a lot of our moves around 4:30, so we could see something in the next half hour. So I'm probably going to stream for about another half hour or so. So you guys got half an hour to try to meet the stream donation goal. We are $30 away. Noissu seems pretty good. Stone is not a right tackle. Stone is 100% a left tackle. If we play him at right tackle, we're going to have a bad time. We have some money, Calvin. I don't know exactly how much. We don't know what the Diggs contract actually is. Yeah, we'll probably get a corner in the draft, Birdie. We usually do. What is one free agent I would target? Maybe Akeem Hicks. I'm not sure, Brando. I might not, but we'll see. It depends on some other stuff. Yeah, Micah, but that's a very small sample size. He is a pure left tackle. I wouldn't have minded Moses, but Trenton Brown's definitely better. Third rounder for a corner? Maybe. I would prefer to go more like fourth or fifth round. Kevin King, I'm interested, but at this point I'm not super interested because we got Burns. Probably not Armstead. I like to watch NFL. Yeah, JS. Dead by Daylight is super glitched right now. I was playing it the other night. McDuffie probably won't last to the second. But yeah, it's super glitched right now. You got to let it... On Tuesday, they're supposed to release a patch. But right now, yeah, it's jacked. Still nothing on Watson. He said he was going to make a decision. He's LeBron Jamesing this-ish. If he did, would you take him? I would consider it, but I'd rather get an edge. I would be interested in trading my underwear for James Bradbury. Nightmare, stop spamming the same chat comment over and over and over and over again. My God. You already got timed out once for that crap. Trey Brown is going to play a lot once he's healthy, 100%. Thank you, Gab. I know, Tommy. It was awkward, but my main takeaway was just we're not rebuilding, I guess. Fame cut, I think that usually doesn't work. Dual quarterback system. Not super into that. Yeah, Artie Burns is probably a slot. I wouldn't mind Devin Lloyd if we traded down a little bit, to be perfectly honest, but Emmett, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I kind of like how it puts immediate pressure on them to win. We now have a leg to stand on with regard to getting Carroll and Schneider out of here if the results are not immediately good. So I like that part of it. But I don't think it's a good idea to go for it in a year when you have 40 mil dead or whatever it is. I think it's 40 mil. I like Devin Lloyd, but I don't think that's the direction we're going right now. Maybe CR. Maybe. $51.5 million guaranteed for Von Miller. Of course not Angel Santana. That's crazy talk. Thoughts on Miles Jack? I was interested, but it's a linebacker. I'm not sweating it too much. Half Daddy, I think there are going to be outs. There's no way that he sees all that money, but it's a little ludicrous right now. I don't really want Julio. I think he's toast. Texans signed Scott Quessenberry to a 1 year deal, basically vet minimum. Because of money, Tom Cox. I think so, Micah. Mostly Austin. Yeah, Chris Bryant got the big money. Number 3 probably gets retired one day. I know this didn't end great, but Wilson still was one of the best players we've ever had. Yeah, I think number 3 gets retired. And 54. 54 might be the best. I mean, Bobby might be the best player in franchise history. He made 6 first team All Pros. We're never going to have another player that does that. No way. Dare Ogwunbale to the Texans, 2 years, $3 million. I mean, quarterbacks are more impactful on the game than linebackers, but Bobby made first team All Pro 6 times. Wilson didn't even do it once. So if you're trying to be objective, if you're not scaling for like relative value, I mean, Walter Jones made first team All Pro 4 times. Bobby did it 6 times, and he almost did it 7 times. I have no idea Ford is good. Okay, it's 4:30. Let's see what happens. Walter Jones did made All Pro first team 4 times. He made All Pro second team 3 times, I think. Wilson made 1 second team All Pro and no first teams. What's happening 4:30? JS, last year the Seahawks made a lot of their moves at 4:30 for some reason. So it's possible. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so the combined value of 39 and of 40 and 41 is about 1,000. It's 990. So let's call it 1,000. That is equivalent to the Eagles' number 16 overall pick. So you could trade 40 and 41 for number 16, I guess. Vincent, I'm streaming. I'm probably going to stop around 4:45. Micah, I'm not sure, but it's plenty. It's plenty enough. All pro votes are not a joke, Nugash. Not at all. That's actually the stuff to take seriously. It's the Pro Bowl that's a joke. I think the second chance thing was just a Drew Lock thing. I really do think he was trying to sell this idea that we really like Drew Lock, despite the fact that he was awful the last 2 years for the most part. So would you trade 40 and 41 for 16? That's interesting. I guess Baker because it's cheaper and easier to get out of. Unless the Falcons are willing to pay you like a second round pick to get Matt Ryan. Patrick Peterson made a bunch of like all pros and Pro Bowls off pure reputation. Hey Pigeon. We signed a couple guys on defense and we signed Austin Blythe. Pretty good. It's honestly been a pretty good day, Pigeon. I'm pretty happy. Well, yeah, JS, that's what I'm saying. Let's take Jared Goff for a year, take some draft capital from the Lions because we're taking on his salary, and then we move on from him after a year. Nwosu's good. The Pete presser was mostly incoherent, but the main takeaway is that we're not rebuilding. The only reason why you would take Matt Ryan is to offload his salary. That's the thing here, guys. You get Matt Ryan, Falcons pay you to take him because you're paying his salary. You're not getting him because you think he's good. Josh Harris, 4 years, $5.6 million, Chargers. Yeah, but Matt Ryan's a dome quarterback and we don't play in a dome. Nothing necessarily cool, Lego Builder. It's just the Seahawks last year kept making their moves around 4:30. All right, guys. I think we're going to stream for about another 15 minutes, and then we're going to be done. So we got a ton of subs today. We're actually, the actual number is about up to 7,350. So we're doing great there. We picked up a few new members. We are $30 short of the donation goal, but we did really well the last 2 days, so that's not a particular concern. And I'd say overall today was quite successful. Birdie shoots. It's easier to play quarterback in a dome. You don't have to worry about weather. Everything's controlled. Yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. Winston for 1 year would be okay. Winston for 1 year would be fine. Thank you, Brandon. I might stream on Twitch tonight. I'm not sure yet. Hey, Carson, what's up, man? I appreciate it. Thank you. So the Cowboys didn't get Von Miller. I wonder why. I might stream SMT5 tonight. I might not. I'm gonna have to. I need to watch some Mark Holmes videos tonight. He's probably livid right now. Well, yeah. I mean, Von Miller would be a fool. To not take $120 million. Yeah, Rams are losing some guys. Mayo has been cut. Really? Okay. Does anyone know if we're designating him a June 1st cut or if we're just cutting him right now? um. Uh-huh. All right. Benson Mayowa is Gonzo Bonzo. Hmm. There we go. Okay. What's up, guys? We got a little bit of late day action from the Seahawks. They have made a cut. They have released a player who was under contract. Not a terribly surprising release, not a terribly surprising decision, not a very impactful one either. But the Seahawks have decided to release edge defender Benson Mayowa. So he was a guy who I thought had a chance to maybe latch on as a reserve outside linebacker in the new hybrid E defense. but we decided that it's better for us to just move on, which is also fair. He's certainly not a great player. I thought that maybe the versatility he offered would have some value because he's somebody who has experience playing with his, standing up because of all the Sam linebacker he played last year. But Mayowa was owed, I believe. Let me pull it up here. About $3.8 million in 2022. Cutting him generates about 2.25 million dead. So if you cut him now, you're looking at $1.5 million freed up. However, if you designate him as a post June 1st cut, which basically means we're telling him, we're making everybody aware that we're going to cut him, but we don't get the cap relief until post June 1st, then you would only take on a dead cap hit of 750 grand. And you would take on cap hits of 750 grand for the following 2 seasons as well. So it would be like 750K, 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 or 750K and then 1.5 mil the following year. Depends on how exactly you want to divvy that out. But if we decide to designate this a post-June 1st cut, which I think is likely, the savings are actually just over $3 million. And you would only owe him 750K dead this season. So if you do that, you're off the hook for most of that money. And if I had to guess, I would say we were probably going to do that. And that frees up about $3 million. That $3 million can go a long way. That could get you Rashad Penny. That could get you Marlon Mack. That could get you Akeem Hicks. That could do quite a few different things for you. I know $3 million doesn't sound like a lot, but it can help move some of these contracts along. It could pay for part of the Trenton Brown contract that we're theoretically going to offer tomorrow. So hopefully this is a prelude to some other releases. I have my eye on Jason Myers, Chris Carson, possibly Carlos Dunlap, possibly Gabe Jackson, LJ Collier. So hopefully this kind of primes the pump. But yeah, Benson Mayowa has been released, saving us either $1.5 million this year or $3 million, depending on how we do it. We'll know more hopefully by tomorrow, but Mayowa is heading elsewhere. Not a bad player, but it was time to try something a little different. See y'all later, go Hawks. All right, we did something after 4:30 after all. Let's see here. Could be Captain Rex. That's possible as well. Can't rule it out. I wouldn't mind Akeem Hicks. He's not amazing or anything. Akeem Hicks is interesting to me a little bit. Not. Yeah, I would imagine part of the reason why he's visiting is for a physical. Has to be, has to be. But I think there's, at this point, a pretty good chance we sign him if he's passes. Okay. We might cut a few more people here. I don't know. Hopefully we don't do them like 10 minutes apart. Tyler Conklin going to the Jets. Another tight end to play with CJ Uzoma. No, I don't. I don't think DK gets traded. Right now, I don't. Why'd we cut Mayo to free up cap space? And he's not that good. He's okay. He's decent, man. Maybe. I'm not crazy about taking a corner in the top 10. Yeah, he is a right tackle, but Curhan is relatively unproven and has clear holes in his game. Austin, I think it's 95. Okay. Yeah, Nwosu seems pretty good to me. Well, Penny really only had one major injury and had to deal with the fallout from that. Carson gets a new injury every 3 months. Jordan Davis, I don't want to take him number 9, I'll say that. Black Speech, welcome to the channel. Marcos, it's either 1.5 or 3. It depends on if we designate it post June 1st or not. I mean, Kerry Hyder's a run stopper more than anything, and he did actually do that job pretty well. And Wosu's a rusher. Yes, Matthew Curtis, this is better. Definitely today was better than yesterday. I'm still mixed on the Diggs thing. Hey, so are we going to do anything else, or are we just going to cut Mayoa and play it by ear until we get some other players in here? I guess that's reasonable, right? I mean, we don't have a kicker right now. Do you feel like Pete wanted to trade Russ? Not really. Not really, no. Unless you're saying maybe he wanted to trade him because Russ said, I want to get paid like Mahomes, and Carroll was like, well, eat a dick. There's probably an easy way out of that contract after a few years, so it's probably not as bad as it looks. What noise? I'm not making a noise. All right, we are 6 minutes short of 5 o'clock. I will be getting out of here at 5. Hmm. I'm not mad about Watson necessarily. Joshua, that's a graphical glitch that comes up every now and then. Everybody is better than Myers. Myers sucks. And you can get somebody else who sucks just as bad for a quarter of the price. Ford is good. I have a good GPU. It's a 3070. It's pretty damn good. So I don't know why you think I need a new GPU. Can Sidney Jones be the number one CB? Not sure. To be determined. I'd rather he not, but it's not impossible. Myers cut saves 4 million. Right, Zach. Well, obviously, Ratio King. I think I've made that very clear in like 800 different videos. Yeah, my graphics card is pretty OP. Watson's not going to the 49ers. That's fake news. He had a meeting with the Falcons just now. Caleb, we might, yeah. I don't think Jones has it anymore. Yeah, he's pretty washed. Myers was bad in 2019 and bad in 2021. He was good in 2020, really good, but that's 1 year. Kicking is random in the NFL. You may as well go cheap. Should I just ban SMG fan because he types in all caps and is like generally low IQ? What do you guys think? I've seen him spamming other people's chats too. I don't think you need to draft a kicker. Just find somebody cheap and hope they're good. That's what we're doing with Myers. We're hoping he's going to be good, except Myers is making $5 million. Go find somebody who makes $1 million. All right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and put the kibosh on this stream. It was a great stream. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We will be doing it again tomorrow. Same schedule, basically. We're going to start at about 9 and go until I can't go anymore. Apparently, Benson Mayowa is not a post-1st June cut, by the way. So it's going to be about a $1.5 million cap savings. Significant. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Might see you guys tonight. If we do something else, I'll make a video about it. We are now more than halfway through the week. Hope you guys had fun today. See you tomorrow.